It'd be Dobby, stop. Okay, so I was reading. Hold on, is it
It says having troubles going. Okay. What do you mean?
there? I
Check
think,
my internet connection.
there we go. It's
Okay, there we go. We're live. We should be. I don't. Maybe. Hold on.
yes. I refreshed the page and now it's working.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's still not showing live on my end. That's the funny
Oh,
part.
it's showing 27 seconds here on mine for being live. Dobby.
Okay, should I
So
refresh my? I might need to refresh my StreamYard because of the. Oh no, here we go. Now it just caught up. We got
okay.
3 people watching.
Okay, good. So
So we just started talking and
yeah.
going off on things and having like fun moments of stroking each other's egos and letting each other know that we're better than we think that we are, and actually finding personal validation in other aspects of writing,
Yeah.
such as career wise, not just narrative fiction. So yeah.
So I found this thing out and I wanted to share it with you specifically because you edit my stuff. Hi, Kat. Welcome. Good morning.
Hey, cat dear.
So, the author who wrote No Country for Old Men and The Counselor spent a lot of his time editing for his professors and developing his style through editing for other people.
Oh.
And he also has done editing for Lawrence Krauss, who is a world renowned physicist.
Yeah, I
So,
was like, that name sounds familiar. I don't know how. No, you know.
mhm. So his background as far as writing is very diverse, and he's done a lot of writing for and editing for a lot of people, and that has helped make him the amazing writer that he is now. And I just thought a lot of times in the writing community, it can be hard to find people who want to read your work or who feel like they're getting something out of the time commitment and being like, oh, if I do this, it's taking away from my writing. Or people who feel like, oh, I don't have time to read because it's taking away from my writing. Where really they're all the same thing, they're different aspects of the same thing. And when you edit for other people, you gain a sense of objectivity that you don't have when you edit your own work. So that as you practice editing for other people and reading, revising, and reviewing, as a third party bystander with no personal interest in the matter, as it
Mm-hmm.
were, you start to be able to see your own work with a little bit more clarity. I mean, you'll never be completely objective with your own
No,
work.
never. We're our own worst critic.
Yeah, but you will be able to see, like, oh, I know
It's
when I'm editing.
exposing yourself to multiple problems that you may like coming into someone else's work as a new pair of eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to remove that aspect of already knowing what it is. You just see the finished canvas. When you start reading, you go, wait, this doesn't make sense. It's a little blurry here on the canvas.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas if you wrote it, you were so close to the painting, you're like, no, this is it. This is it.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, it. I think that's the beauty of editing and revising and helping and reading for other people is you start to pick up on things that like, oh, that comma shouldn't have been there. And then you go back to your own work and you're like,
This is
I did
um
I did that. I did that too.
that's the funny part is when like I've talked about flash fiction advice and stuff, and then I get to my work and I'm like, I just did the exact thing that I was talking about people shouldn't do.
Mhm.
What is wrong with me? And then you always have the question, like, because every bit of writing rule out there, there's times to break it.
Mhm.
Every single one. And you wonder, is this the time? Or am I just like feeling a little too positive for myself?
Oh, the guy that I can't think of his name, but the guy that I was talking about, um, his signature is that he doesn't use a lot of punctuation. He barely uses dialogue tags, and he doesn't put dialogue in quotes, and he doesn't really use commas very often, and he uses and in there, like the way that I just said that sentence with a lot of ands. That's how he writes. Dobby,
Wow.
stop scratching my couch.
Oh, I forgot that cats do that. I haven't had a cat so long.
He doesn't very often. Actually, most of the time he's good, but he's upset with me right now. So,
You know.
yeah, he has a scratching tree, and honestly, even when he was a cat nager, he didn't use like scratching posts or like the things you can hang on the door for them to scratch. He would only scratch the same spot in my carpet.
Thank you, dear.
Because he didn't like the other angle, and so
Yeah.
he would just, I'm like, and I was like, so even when I moved, he didn't, I don't have carpet, so he didn't scratch the carpet. He didn't scratch the couches either because he doesn't like that angle.
Aw.
I'm like, I don't, you're so weird.
There's those scratching posts that you can put on the floor that are more like a incline plane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got him a cat tree, and it's got, like flat carpeted spots, and he likes it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We've solved the Dobby issue in one aspect. There's still many others.
Yeah. But when he scratches my furniture like that, and it's one specific couch, when he scratches that couch, it's because
It's always the same spot. It's not like they go around. It's just this like one corner that's their favorite. And you're like, dude, you live here. You don't need to mark it.
why are you doing this? Although
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna get rid of it and replace it and turn it into a reading nook.
Yeah. I've so I know I'm going to be moving next year. I don't want to talk about where I'm moving yet, just in case if it changes, and I'm kind of hoping it does. But I'm looking at houses in the area, and there was this house that was really old, and I'm like, I don't know. And then the area above the garage, where the ceiling is kind of like this with the flat top and everything, lined with bookshelves.
And you're like, what?
And I'm like, no, this place could work, totally work. I don't care how outdated it is. I don't mind this place. I even showed it to my husband. And he's like, yeah, that place could work.
That's so funny, but you would have like an office lined with books. That would be nice.
It would be and everything. I just don't think I'll be working from home at the next place anymore. I don't know. We'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Because I mean, my kids are loving it. Any time that I have to actually leave for work, like yesterday, my son's like, "No, you stay," and I'm like, "I can't, buddy. You don't know how good you have it. You don't quite remember, but I used to do this every day. Leave the house and come back."
It's been like 2 years now, so like, he's like this.
I mean, I was gone for like 7 months for work anyway, so. But maybe that's what he thinks, is that I'm actually going to be gone for a long time now. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I haven't. As good as I am with editing, writing, and such, I'm not good at figuring out what my son, the origination of ideas. Haven't quite tapped that ability yet. So, all right.
Also, as a sidebar, before we get into things, I know we're prepping. I've already got your timer pulled up, so don't even worry about it. I've been reading this book.
That's on my list to read somewhere.
I quite like it, and it does have a short section that I just finished last night. I'm on page 36, is what I'm starting next.
For anybody just listening, Chandra held up the Anatomy of Prose by Sasha Black.
Mm-hmm. Can you see that?
Nope. What does it say? Oh, flash fiction. There's an entire section on flash fiction. I'm triggered. I'm like a dog when you say treats.
Just in case you're thinking about it, just a little flash fiction.
Well, now I have to get the book. God.
Yeah. Yep.
It's no longer on the list. It's in the cart. I'm not even gonna ask the hubby of like, hey, can I get more books? No, just it's gonna appear.
This is for work.
Yes.
Okay, it's for work.
If anything, it should help developmental editing on my part.
Yes, actually, she has a lot of tips. Even in the first, like, I haven't even hit 40 pages. Um, Exercises that you can do, and not just exercises as far as writing, but what we were talking about of like reading still contributes to your writing ability. She has reading exercises that contribute to the way that you write.
Ooh.
So yeah, I was like, I've read a lot of books on writing. And by a lot, I mean like 6, which is a lot.
Hey, that's pretty good though.
And
That's a lot of opinions that you're soaking in.
yes, yes. And I mean, I have countless hours of videos watched on writing.
Yeah.
This is very comprehensive. If you don't mind to throw that in the chat so I can lazy.
Oh yeah, I always do that. I'm like, here, type it yourself. Let's be nice.
I'm like, I don't want to.
Hey Spencer.
More.
Dad's golfing. It's the weekend. That's kind of the normal thing. All right, go potty. Go potty and then I'll get your milk. Yes, he's golfing. Go potty. It's nice that he's gotten better independence and stuff. Oh, and he can pee standing up now.
Oh, this is big. This is big.
He does it on his own. He takes showers now and stuff. I still have to like bathe him, so I'm like got the shower open, trying not to get wet myself. But still, like we're getting closer to a little mini adult.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me post this in the chat. Okay, for anybody who needs this transcribed audibly, not transcribed, transcribed means writing, come on, but said out loud. The prompt is very short, not a lot to go with, but time travel. That can mean whatever you want it to mean. The words to include are, and I'm going to read it from the page if you don't mind looking at the words to make sure I typed everything right. Hurricane, email, launder, pastry, garlic, staff, germs, gallery, brace, and share.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It says Louder, loud.
Oh, that was okay. And it's definitely launder here. Okay, so let me fix that. See, this is why we do these things.
Hi, Mia. Good morning. How are you?
Launder. And I'm going to copy it again, paste it again. Ooh. All right, we're going to have a sprint. Comments. Hey, Mia dear. Hopefully you can get your coffee and such in this time. Okay, I'm ready.
There we go.
I pasted in the chat anew.
Ah!
And in case you're labeling your flashes, this is episode 135.
I started doing it by date. I'm going to have to go back and clean all this up.
You can work by date too. It's really as long as you have a different numbering system. Usually the way I do it, like this would be, the file name would be episode 135 time travel. And that's usually what I do. I don't do dashes or anything.
My problem is that I didn't have a consistent naming convention when I started, which, file management or document management 101, naming conventions, but
that just makes me laugh.
Specifically in document management or something.
That makes me laugh because, like, usually when you're going through stuff and you're like, I remember writing this thing, and now that I have like over like 160 flashes in one folder, and I got all these labeled, but then the bonuses we do are usually in the same page as what we did. So luckily there's ways to find it because I have a master list of like word count and everything. Either way, I don't know. I'll get there.
I was looking at that the other day because I feel like we have something to celebrate. I mean, I know that we do, but also and there's a few other flash fiction that are not specifically from Flash Fiction Live.
Yeah.
I've written 73 flash fiction pieces.
I have written, yeah, because that's actually that's interesting because you're not doing the entire book with me. You pretty much do the weekend.
Yeah.
But which is fine. I enjoy. But according to my like master list as of today, and I still got a video to edit. I've written 164 flashes, which equals to 74,180 words, which gives me an average word count of 452.
Yeah.
Flash.
It's a lot. I mean, but you've been consistent dedication over time.
Mm-hmm. I do have 6 flashes that I haven't written that I should have written by now, but I'm going to, at the end of July, I'll play catch up again.
Yeah. But this is huge. We've really done something.
Yeah.
Anyhow, when you are ready.
Hey, Kat owns the same prompt book.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah, dude, I'm just going through. Yeah, so I numbered them all because they're not numbered in the book, but 135.
Yeah. That's awesome. Have they put out another one?
Not what I've seen.
Okay.
They do have other books that kind of deal with this type of stuff. There's actually also a daily, like 365 drawing prompts, which is interesting. So there's a few different they have a few different options, and I think there are some other writing ones, but it's not exactly like this.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, I'm excited.
Okay,
we ready?
Yeah.
All right, we will
begin. We will be.
Sprint number 1 in 3, 2, and 1.
No! I wasn't ready. I wasn't even paying attention. Last time I saw the time was like 16 minutes. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Which is funny. I actually didn't write that many words. I mean, I started at like 26 minutes. But I only got 334 words. But this is becoming like an in-depth story that could potentially be like 1,000 words.
Ooh.
It's kind of very complex, and I'm trying to figure out. And these words, the last 3 words I got are launder, staff, and germs. I gotta figure out how to include those.
So I just got an idea. I think we should make one of our challenges at some point in time a flash fiction that actually has to be 1,000 words.
Ooh.
I think we would probably
usually
have to give ourselves an hour.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'll have to be a day where it's like that's all we do is that flash.
I think we should do it as like a celebratory something, maybe an extra long stream. But I think we should make that a challenge because I realize
that could be. We could do a stream for the end of July since we're Julyo Rimo, whatever we want to call this thing, Camp July. I'm doing a flash a day, and then like a celebratory of being done with camp.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
I like that idea. Okay, I'm jumping over to the Gmail so I can get your story.
So I only did 362 words. I did have time to edit this time, but I don't know if y'all saw me sprinting down the hallway because Dobby was slamming the cabinet door under my sink, which is where I keep my chemicals.
Yeah, no, we do not want that.
And I think he knows because as soon as I would make it to the hallway, he would be sprinting towards me trying to get to under my bed before I could get to him. And I'm like, you're just...
When the animals do that, I'm like, seriously? You knew you were doing wrong and you still did it.
Yep. 514 words for that sprint. The most words I've gotten in a while. Oh, yeah.
Woot, woot. Okay. Oh, God. What? Did I just delete something? Please tell me I didn't. Okay, no. Okay.
Hello,
not the footer.
Hello to you, too.
Ah.
My cat does that all the time in the kitchen. Okay, so it's not just me. It is specifically the kitchen. I also do keep my bathroom door closed because this one is just a mess. And he's yelling at me. He's upset with me, so that's why he's... I don't know. I don't even know what I did. It's like I literally just woke up. How could I have angered you already?
You didn't wake up early enough?
Apparently not.
Which you wake up earlier than I, so I don't know. Oh my God. I got my nails done, and I'm in that stage of where I can't pick anything off a freaking table or the floor like a coin.
Oh, like when you're always like...
Just work. All right. So for the first setup, I got a 20-cent euro because I never had it. So there's this side with 20. I don't know if you can see it. I don't have my screen up. And then William Shakespeare on the other.
Shakespeare.
You'd pick Shakespeare. All right. I'm just going to flip it and let it land. That means you will read or I will read your story.
I will read.
Okay. It is Shakespeare. Oh, that was kind of loud. All right.
Let us see. Insert. There we go. Okay. Think of it as a gallery of moments. Melancholy, robotic female voice said. Riley's increased the volume of the earpiece. So I can choose any moment to alter, she asked. Yes, the artificial voice said. but only moments in your life so far. And keep in mind, whatever moment you choose, you will branch anew, and all moments afterwards will be unknown. Riley walked down the hallway. Each frame on the stark white walls played memories in a loop. Pivotal choices in life, not just choosing what to have for breakfast. Flashes of good and bad choices, sending an angry email at work, staying to brace through a hurricane, starting the pastry business. Will I remember this timeline? Riley asked as her eyes swept over the frames as she slowly walked down the hallway. Only up until the new choice is made. After that, the alternate timeline will be unknown, the voice said. Riley looked straight ahead and saw the end of the hallway. Turning around, she found she couldn't see the beginning. Puzzled, she asked, "Why is there no more moments after this?" "Your existence in this timeline has ceased," the voice said. "I'm dead?" "Yes," the voice replied. "So my only choice out of here is to make another choice somewhere in my life?" The voice didn't reply, sensing the lack of questioning. Riley backtracked her steps. Riley backtracked her steps and stopped in front of a frame. She was seated at a restaurant with a large group of friends. A man sat across from her. They both reached for the garlic bread and decided to share it after a laugh. Shaking her head, she stepped further back to a memory of when she was a teenager. Her mother stood between Riley and Riley's father. Without taking her eyes off her husband, she told Riley to leave the house. When Riley returned, an ambulance took her mother as her father was talking with the EMTs, saying she fell down the stairs. Riley moved. Um,
I got a lot of ideas, and I
Please
actually
open
realized I
has
need to put
more.
filler. Yeah. I still don't know where the hell I'm going to put launder, because I'm not going to make her like a Walter White and launder money or anything.
Mhm.
But with this story, well, first give your impact, and then I'm going to say where my goal is.
What words are you missing?
Launder. Hold on. I remember launder. Where's my freaking story? Launder, staff, and germs. Staff and germs, I think I can work with.
Yeah.
But
Well,
launder,
you
I'm
could
just like,
also actually go with like something that needs to be laundered to keep germs away and something about the hospital.
oh, there we
Mhm.
go.
So I would say, yeah, like you could really put all those together. Maybe even taking, knowing that she can't go home after this, taking away the clothes, which is the last thing she really has, but it has to be laundered so that there's no like smell of home or, everything's now foreign.
Ooh, I like that. Where it's like, take away the cigarette smell, stale cigarettes and stuff. What do you need,
Yeah.
baby? Lilo, your tail.
I think
you pay me Lilo?
Yes, when I'm done.
Okay.
I think the
Daddy.
part that I'd like a little more in is when she gets to the end of the hallway. She should have some kind of memory there.
Yes, of like how she died and stuff.
Yeah, and
So yes, I concur. That kind of adds to what I want to add in here.
mhm. So, yeah, I think that would be really cool, and I also think maybe some of the memories have like an outline or like they're backlit and like so there's extra significance on those memories, but she doesn't know what it is.
Yes, I have. Yeah,
Because
I got an
the
idea.
outcome of her making a change could be negative or positive. She could move up the end of her timeline accidentally because she doesn't know what to change. And I think that line of questioning, but then also seeing a flash of what happened. Like her going back into this specific memory could end very differently. It's her mother is taking the brunt of this for her, and she goes back in and she tries to protect
I
her
just
mother.
had that thought when you were talking about it. It could end her timeline sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and actually, I decided I want to change it. So, all right, first, I want to add some memories before the breadstick incident. I
Mm-hmm.
want to pretty much make her like it. Her memory is that guy she
Mm-hmm.
ends up dating, and maybe he kills her.
That's actually what I was thinking too. Would be
Yeah,
kind of cool of where it's like she has this positive memory, but then I think if you preface it with more memories of her dad,
yeah. Well, and
where
then
you're
here's the
seeing
thing:
similar
I'm thinking about
behaviors.
switching it and making it the mom is the abuser from her childhood, and her dad was protecting her, flipping it around because we don't see that much.
Mm.
And so she thinks she's okay, um, and but it turns out that the guy is just as bad, the guy she meets.
Yeah.
But
So
so I want to see. So the timeline going back is like the guy pretty much is her cause of death, and I want to see like gradual go up. So her cause of death, maybe the first time he hit her, maybe some verbal abuse. Then when they meet, and she's like, nope, no, I got to do it sooner than that. Then she goes, no, definitely sooner, because why did I accept him at that time? Why did I not see it?
mhm.
And actually, I need to probably expand the garlic incident to maybe he's a little controlling.
So here's my thought on that, right? Because we already know that whatever timeline she picks, she doesn't remember anything going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not going to know why she's back at this point in her life to do over. How does she
Yeah,
remind herself?
like she can make that change in that moment, but after the change is made,
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't know why anymore. So, like for example, if she chose not to um, engage with this guy,
Mm-hmm.
and by engage I mean like actually give her number or whatever, like she something it's like this
She has.
an intuition that tells
Mhm.
her don't hook up, don't be with this guy, don't give him your number, don't like this is a one-time meeting, don't interact with him again.
So she does that decision, and then it changes the timeline, and she doesn't remember anything else.
Yeah, she just
Okay.
has this feeling of don't be with this guy.
Mm-hmm. So then the other thing that I would suggest as an idea, because you do
Deja
have this limited
vu.
space. Ooh, I like the feeling deja vu. I like that.
Yeah, I
I
like
think
that.
taking her, whichever parent it is in the beginning,
Yeah,
and mirroring the guy's behavior to that parent so that you can reduce the amount of words but just indicate that their behaviors are the same.
yes.
And and then she makes her decision.
Yeah, and then what I was gonna do is like her meeting the guy and it being kind of nice, like, but I want him to be like controlling, like where it's
Mhm.
playful controlling, but when you find out what and the reader already knows what he does later, so you
Mhm.
go, oh, that's a warning sign, is what I want. And then, but then she's like, nah, this isn't the moment
Oh,
because
what about with the garlic bread? If he takes it, even though like they both reach for it, he takes it and breaks it off and gives her the smaller piece.
perfect. Oh, I got to write this down. Yeah. All right.
And maybe he says something passive aggressive, like "I can see that you watch your figure" or something like that.
Don't want to
Like a
change
backhanded
your
compliment.
figure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
don't want to don't
here,
want to. Yeah.
I'll
Oh
take this because I
God,
can see that you watch
this
your
is the shit I
figure.
love in writing, the brainstorming. Like, because it's like, oh, I want to write it now, but I'm just gonna make notes.
I mean, well, if
Gives
you really want to, we can do that as our second part, as our challenge.
yeah, like to actually enact the feedback that we just did and see what it. Yeah, done. All right. Give smaller piece. I'm misspelling piece in my notes here, but whatever.
You'll know what you mean.
Yeah, the smaller piece. Watch figure. I'll just put in quotes. Um, and yeah, I'll make it like watch that gorgeous figure or something like that. Okay, and then so the moment that I'm thinking she's going to change is actually leaving the house or like the moment where the first time um the
So if you,
the
but
first time they stay or something like that with the abuser, like, and at this point I'll have it the father, and the father goes, no, a girl needs her mother, and she goes, that she's not a mother I would emulate or something like that.
mhm. So
um
I want maybe to say
yes.
if she doesn't leave the house, then it's perpetuating an abusive behavior, right? Because she's still not spending time with her friends, which is a tactic, right? An abusive tactic to isolate the person. So I don't think she should be isolated, but I think she should become aware of that behavior and still
Yeah.
choose to see her friends and still choose to not engage with him. Like maybe that happens, so you see it play out the first time, and then the second time going back and seeing the different choice that she makes and how she takes that same interaction and walks away with a completely different result.
Yeah. I the more I think about it, I definitely want the mom to be an abuser in
Mm-hmm.
this situation, just because we don't see it much. And then also kind of gives a reason of why the girl thinks I need to be better than my mother, so she treats this guy better, but this guy has his own skewed view of what love is.
Mm-hmm.
And everything. But so she wants to go back, and she wants to, like, I had a flash in my head of like her father cooking dinner and the mom going, God, can't you do anything, or something, like emasculating him,
Mm-hmm.
and just blowing up, but she doesn't hit him, she doesn't do anything to him.
So I was thinking about that, how to make, because she gets carted away to the hospital and we know that it's not the father who's doing anything. So what if she like throws herself down the stairs, or um
Okay, and then
so
throw
she's
in
like, mhm.
an extra scene where it's her at the hospital, and then it goes back and she fell down the stairs, um and in that face off of leave with the mother, I can keep that scene, but it's the mother is doing it because she's trying to manipulate the situation.
Mhm.
And
So maybe
uh,
like she would even take the knife to harm herself, and he would like grab it away, but she's already done herself some harm. So now his fingerprints are on the knife, and she like stuff like that where she's
where she goes, I'm gonna hurt myself, you don't care, and everything. When it takes the knife, she goes, you cut me. He goes, you did that already. She goes, who would believe you, or something like that, like, and
yeah,
starting like that. And
like the gaslighting of, and somehow throwing in backhanded compliments to show that
yeah,
she's manipulating the situation so that everyone will just hear the positive
this
parts.
story could very easily be over 1,000 words. But and then the moment that I would want the Riley to change is leaving her mother
Mm-hmm.
and her and her father going away. Like, somehow that is the change.
Ooh, so the changes, she changes her own story arc and also saves her father in a sense.
Yes. But what if at the end she meets, I got to give the guy a name. What if at the end she meets him, instead of as a teenager, or whatever, or as we'll say college age. I got to make sure I put ages in here so timeline can be seen. But instead of meeting him as college age, she actually ends up, when she leaves with her father, she ends up meeting the neighbor and his son, and it's him. So she meets him
I
earlier in life,
I love it.
and then it's a question of what, like, is she meeting him
Did
early
the
enough?
change really, although the
Does it
timelines are
help change
different,
him? Yes. Fucking yeah.
make it happen? Oh, I love it. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Leave with father. We'll figure that out. It's father. Um, leave with father. Neighbor. Good kid. Him. All right. I'm putting a ad scenes of abuse by guy slash death, and maybe not even fully see her death. Like, maybe she sees him raise his hand in like one of the last scenes, and she just turns away, like she doesn't even fully see it.
Mhm.
So abuse by guy, mother in hospital, in hospital, um, mother abuse towards father, towards father, and I like this switch of going.
I just love. First of all,
Nia's like,
I
yes,
love.
I love your brainstorming. Oh, and I got to make sure. And then when we have the when she meets the neighborhood kid, that's when I'm
Mhm.
going to bring in Violet's note of deja vu,
Yeah.
like they met before.
Ooh, I like that. I love also the imagery of the end of the hallway and her not actually seeing how things end, but knowing that like this is part of the last memory.
Yes. Okay, so I got those notes down. Oh my god, I'm excited. All right, let's read yours. Okay. And I'm also going to edit some of the typos that I had. All right. This is Chandra's story, read by moi. All right. In the midst of a hurricane of email traffic, I love that, Laura could almost taste the salt air of her beach vacation. She had been yearning for the 10-day hiatus since she had started planning it, and all the intervening time felt like a punishment. The rest of the staff were jealous, to be sure, but she couldn't stop herself from talking about it. Her excitement was too strong, even if it did sound a bit like boasting. She marked off the days on her calendar with the check mark because each one she got through was a small victory. There were just 30 minutes left on the clock, enough time to clear her desk and tidy things up before she walked out the door. She took the trash under her desk and shifted files into the drawer to lock them away. A piece of paper fluttered to the floor. The smell of a fresh pastry and garlic bread churned to clouds of vapor in her mind's eye. The clothes she had planned to launder when she got home, a task the clothes she had planned to launder when she got home, a task she would never have to brace for. She wasn't going anywhere. She couldn't see the culprit, but she knew it was there, like germs. The delicate trace power was a telltale
That should be
sign.
powder.
Powder?
Hmm.
Okay, the delicate trace powder was a telltale sign of the toxin on her skin that was killing her. Lock down the gallery, she said. Her voice, remarkably calm given the circumstances, held an air of authority and broached unquestioning obedience. God, I wish I could time travel, she muttered. She angled herself in her chair as her body began to go numb. Already, the ocean of stillness lapped at her feet. The outside world grew fuzzy and dim. Was it the rush of blood in her ears, or had she made it to the sea? Laura, Laura, I need you to keep your eyes open, honey, a voice said. But she couldn't feel the sun on her face, the soft graze of the sand on her fingertips, and hear the ocean calling. This was what she'd been anticipating for weeks. It was finally time to rest. She didn't have time to share this moment with anyone. Work could wait. Whoa. Okay. So I'm assuming um that it was God, what is it? The thing that used to be sent in the mail and it would shut offices down.
Hmm.
Uh, God, what was that? What's that
Is it
stuff called?
anthrax?
Anthrax. Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
I was like, I had a shot for it before. um, okay. Yeah, that's what it makes me think of. Am I headed in the right direction with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so on that one, I kind of want to know the things that I feel like are missing are I want to know where she works, where this would be deemed a location to send anthrax. Um, or is it personal? Does she notice something about the an envelope or the paper or whatever, where it's from,
Hmm.
and that lets her know like it's an ex boyfriend or something or whatever. or the handwriting's familiar. And then that lets us know. We don't even have to know the tie. The other thing is when I started reading of in the midst of hurricane email traffic, Laura could almost taste the salt air of her beach vacation. I was thinking actually that she was already on the beach, but she kept on like still checking email is where my mind was with it at first. It took me a while to realize that she was actually still at work, but she's just antsy about her vacation.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the next paragraph where she's been yearning for the 10-day hiatus. And everything, that's what it got. And actually hiatus, I don't know why I have qualms with that word, but I feel like a sabbatical, if you want like a fancy word to go in there, is stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Hiatus, I don't know why. Hiatus, I think, is because it's a halting of something, and we don't really have her halting work because she's talking about midst of her email traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in the midst of hurricane email traffic, Laura just like let her inbox fill up because she's like, nah, I'm leaving. And that's why it's like a hurricane, because she's not opening any email for the next 30 minutes until she'll worry about it when she comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just felt a dog underneath my table here. They like to cuddle nearby. All right. So this is a case. I think with this rule, when we're talking about we're going to be editing this, I think we're allowed to change words or remove them because, like, for example, the rest of the staff just is weak. It seems like she's not a part of them. Maybe her coworkers, and actually show that connection that she has with them. Staff is kind of almost too distant. So I'm totally open to changing words to make the story better. But I like the imagery of marking off the days with a check mark, because each one she got through was a small victory. I mean, it gives a sense of the work that she does, and like it's not something. I almost take it like she's kind of the typical how most people say they hate their job, and how that's almost depicted like it almost seems odd for people to love what they do actually and to actually enjoy their work. But yeah, but I think so. You jump. Here's the next part. You jump around a little bit of like being close to her and then being far away, in the sense of you say she wasn't going anywhere, and that's like that omniscient, we know she's not going anywhere, but in her mind a few lines later she's on the beach, and she's relaxing.
So I guess I don't know that I'm necessarily getting it across then, because I wanted a piece of paper fluttered to the floor and she wasn't going anywhere to not quite near each other, but like when the paper falls off of her desk, I wanted there to be just kind of like a like, you know, what is this now? And then when she wasn't going anywhere, is that she already knows what it is as soon as she picks it up. But I also don't say that she picks it up. So maybe I need to add in there that she picks it up and immediately knows that she's not going anywhere.
Have her mistake it as a memo. Be like, did I miss a memo or something? Like where she thinks she thought she did everything. She thought she cleared all memos or internal memos or something like that.
And then to your point about her not it was there. Oh my gosh, it was just there. No, keep going. I forgot what it was. It was really important too.
So where she isn't going anywhere, and then I said that where in her mind's eye she's actually on the beach?
Mm-hmm.
Or do I need to go further back than that?
Oh, so being on the beach, I wanted. So as soon as she realizes what's going on, I wanted it like to be kind of a break where she's already starting to break down. Like she's losing her grasp on reality.
Okay. So if we're talking about losing grasp on reality, I think we should incorporate parts of like what's happening around her.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, I'm assuming she's lying down. Maybe she's looking at the fluorescent light and it turns into the sun on her face.
Mm-hmm.
Say,
and yes, that's what I was going for. So that makes more sense. Of like, okay, so she sags into the chair. Someone like people come over. She's telling everybody to lock things down. They're getting her onto the floor. She's
and here's the other thing. Usually with anthrax, you're supposed to clear the area, and those people are at risk of being infected. Now, I'm sure protocol would be, she already said, lock down the area, which could be, maybe there's a code word that is said, or it's usually in emergency scenarios, you're supposed to shout things 3 times. So if it's fire, it's fire, 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 and loudly and with authority. And she does do it loudly with authority. But there's usually something quickly of like maybe clear out or 3 times and stuff. Like
so maybe that's where it is I need to indicate that she's already touched the paper before it falls to the floor, and she didn't realize that until she sees the paper fall to the floor.
So maybe as she's grabbing the papers, one slips from her fingertips, like from the back, and slips from the back of her fingertips or whatever, and as she, like, because maybe it's a stack of papers and she's like shifting her grip, and so her fingers come off for a second, and so the last page drops.
Ooh, she's like shuffling it, trying to open the drawer, and she's holding this stack of paper, and one flutters to the floor.
Yeah,
and then she's
but she's got to feel it. She's got to feel it. Like it's got to be. I think you should say the last page. That way we know her fingertips were on it. Instead of just, because if we just see one flutter to the floor, we'll assume it was a loose page that was in the middle somewhere.
Oh, I remembered what I was going to say. The timeline where you were saying she needs to have that indication of like, where did this come from? Where she has that premonition, not premonition, but like a memory comes back to her or something.
Yeah.
And we know that it's been on her desk a while. So she's been targeted at some point in time, but it's been a while since it, like, she missed it somehow, and it's been at the bottom of this stack of papers, and now that she's cleaning up to go, it's when she gets to it.
So here's the issue. So with the anthrax stuff, it was usually in an envelope. And the moment you open that envelope is when you're exposed, but it's fine in the envelope. So it would have to be maybe it might have to be she throws away the papers, sees this envelope, and then uses her letter opener to cut it open, and then that's when everything happens. So we might have to switch from it fluttering. You could have this imagery of it floating down from her hands, like she's in shock and drops it. You can still keep that imagery of it fluttering down, but with what I remember from anthrax outbreaks is that you had to open it, and it wasn't just a loose paper.
On the point about locking down the gallery, I was thinking she's already been exposed to the point where like it takes her a second, and by the time she starts speaking, she's already having a reaction. So
yes, like you could have her tongue feel heavy or something. I don't know all the symptoms.
I don't either. I'm just gonna kind of go.
So we might have to look it up.
Yeah. The other thing I was thinking is where you were talking about, she's telling people to lock down. They should be following protocol, but she hasn't indicated what's happening. So someone rushes over to her.
Yeah. So she could say, lock down the gallery, and the person that rushes over, she holds her hand up like
Mhm.
stay back or something, we could start going nonverbals here and showing things affecting her.
Mhm.
Nonverbals hold her hands up, and the person sees at her feet the envelope, and it clicks for them, and so they say the 3 words and start trying to like clear
Mhm.
everybody.
Yeah.
Because all she can get out is locked on the gallery, but that person can say the maybe it's outbreak, 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 or whatever. Or,
So here's another point of where you were talking about the staff sounding very distant. I think I still want them to be staff because she is in the supervisory role.
yeah,
But
it
the
could be
person,
supervisory, and
yeah,
so maybe it's um
but the person who's like
yeah,
closest to her, who also takes charge, give that sense of connection that they're one of her peers, and so
true.
they like
So we got to
have
build
some,
on the relationships here. So
yes,
when she says staff, maybe when she's talking about telling them, she's like, I know they're tired of hearing it, and just appeasing their supervisor by listening
mm-hmm.
or something like that. So that way we have a relationship.
Yeah,
And maybe even she's like thankful to them to appease her, be like, bless them. I know I'm tiring
yeah,
or something
something
like
along
that.
those lines where she's
So
like,
if we build the relationships, I think,
mm-hmm.
and then maybe it's her peer, the one that comes up and she's like, we can't have both of, she thinks or something, we can't have both of the leads down. And it's not that she thinks it, but maybe when she puts her hand up, the next line could be both supervisors can't be down.
First of all, I love your profile pic. That's so cute.
Oh, I just noticed it now that we got it big. Nice.
And I like this, and I remember that episode of NCIS too. So I think that's a good reference point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so we want to jump into sprint number 2, where this is
Yeah.
our challenge, is to refine what we already wrote.
Yep. Did you write down the edits that you need?
No, I'm gonna wing it.
Had to write mine down. All right. Well, we can chat in private chat if you can't remember anything.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make a scrolling thing a challenge. Include workshop edits to original. To not run. But I hope I have enough time to get on this one.
I know.
Right.
I feel like I have a lot to do in a short amount
I
of
know.
time.
I'm like, I got notes. I'm like, bullet.
I think I'm gonna go in and just like add little lines of like what's supposed to happen, and
Yeah, I
then
think right now it's get the ideas on there and then go back and see how much you can expand.
yeah, that's what I'm.
So,
That's my plan.
all right, we can do this. Oh,
Okay. Oh, let me share my screen. And we'll begin the next sprint in 3, 2, and 1.
No! I'm at the pivotal scene. I haven't even gotten. I'm at the point where the decision is being changed, but I'm not even at the like they move part.
Hi, Jules. Hi, Laura.
Oh, and I didn't give my name.
I made a lot of changes. I added a lot. I need more time. I need to go back over it again.
I know.
I need to listen to the feedback and like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I think I made a lot of progress.
Me too.
But
I still want to see how we've done. I'm at, hold on. I added 2 words. I still need staff. But I'm at 845 words now.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm at 671. I did add another character as well. Oh, I don't know why I've still got this up. There we go. Yeah. I feel I also switched around the line that you said you didn't know exactly where they were.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, you thought that she was already on vacation and it took you a second to get reoriented. So I switched that around. But what I also didn't get to do was really clarify what the environment is and where they work.
Yeah. Well, and like we said, we could make it personal. The only reason her job would be relative is why is it targeted for anthrax? But if it's personal, then it doesn't matter what her job is.
Mm-hmm.
It's she could recognize handwriting or something.
And I think I took it in a direction where it's more work oriented, which I could
so
still
then we kind of need something for the job.
Yeah. So I mean, I could still change that, but I think I like the direction it's going in.
Yeah, I think some research into the anthrax outbreaks that we had years past, find out what places were targeted and why. And then also looking into, like we were talking about, the symptoms of being exposed to anthrax.
So I looked at the symptoms a little bit, and I think more what I was going with is more that of a nerve agent, and I didn't have a ton of time to research it. I also realized as I was researching a little bit that my poor FBI agent is probably like, girl, what?
Listen, we've been over this. 1, they should be used to us by now. But 2, be afraid of the writers that don't have to research.
That is
just say it.
True fact. True. So yeah, my that's what I went with.
Hey, Violet did 514 words. Most words gotten in a while. Bravo.
Yay. Oh, you're killing it. That just prompted me to make sure that my VPN is on, and it is.
Yes, very important. Kind of want to make my own prompts. Like, I have made some like word prompts, and I want to flip pages in dictionary and pick a certain number. Oh, that's a creative way to pick words.
I like
that. Yeah, because I mean that's kind of similar to what Chandra and I do when we do the choose your own prompt situation. Definitely. We just pick random words, but the words we pick from are a list that I made. So I got to add more words to that list. Otherwise, we're going to go through it real quick.
We should start using, I have this service and it emails you a word of the day.
There we go.
Start just adding those.
Yeah. Swing. Okay. All right. So I think we should at least read how like the new versions we have.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to copy it over.
Okay.
This one. Okay, buddy. Get your life together. Come on, computer. Actually, it's Google Docs specifically.
Oh.
No. Load on your time. It's cool. Just trying to figure out where I left off.
Oh, scroll all the way to the bottom. I left yours at the bottom.
I was just at the bottom and it was acting like it didn't exist.
I'm gonna put in a thing.
Let me refresh. Hold on. I think I just need a refresh.
I put a thingy, so you should be able to jump to it at the bottom where it says draft 2, Natalie.
There we go. It took refreshing the page.
Gotcha.
Okay, so you read first before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read first this time, and I'm going to go to draft 2. Chandra. All right, let's go. She has been yearning for the 10-day sabbatical since she had started planning it 6 months ago, and all the intervening time felt like punishment. The rest of the staff were jealous, to be sure, but she couldn't stop herself from talking about it. Her excitement was too strong, even if it did sound a bit like boasting, and they listened to their boss mostly out of obligation. Even her peers were tired of hearing about it. Half the time, Greg wasn't at his desk, not because they didn't get along, but with a new baby at home, his chance for an island getaway was fading into the future. Make a slight change. All right. In the midst of a hurricane of email traffic, Laura could almost taste the salt air of her beach vacation, even with the red bubble counting up the unopened messages. She had no intentions of opening another envelope. She had marked off the days on her calendar with a check mark because each one she got through was a small victory. There were just 30 minutes left on the clock, enough time to clear her desk and tidy things up before she walked out the door. She grabbed her pen and placed a final check mark, then reached for the trash can under her desk. She paused. She had locked the files away, a mountain that had accumulated since her last vacation. She shifted through the files in her arm, balancing them precariously in one arm and turning the key in the locked drawer to open it. An envelope fluttered to the floor as she placed the folders in file 13. Laura bent to pick it up and turned the envelope in her hand. The red confidential stamp on the face indicated the envelope wasn't like the red bubble on her desktop. She glanced at the clock. She still had 25 minutes. She slid the blade of her letter opener into the envelope, slicing clearly through the edge. A fine white powder sifted to the floor like snowfall. The fine powder coated her hands, dusted her black pants, and specked on her shoes. Had she breathed some in? The smell of fresh pastry and garlic bread turned to clouds of vapor in her mind's eye. The clothes she had planned to launder when she got home, a task she would never have to brace for. She knew she wasn't going anywhere. She couldn't see the culprit, but she knew it was there, like germs. The delicate trace powder was a telltale sign of the toxin on her skin that was killing her. Lock down the gallery, she said, her voice remarkably calm given the circumstance, and held an air of authority that broached unquestioning obedience. Greg put his steaming cup of coffee down on his desk and moved towards her. Laura stumbled back, away from him. Stay back, she said, resting the sentence lost in an incoherent mumble. Everybody out, Greg shouted. Clear the room. God, I wish I could time travel, she muttered. She angled herself into her chair. As her body began to go numb, she slipped from the edge of the seat, and the bright fluorescent lights faded in and out. Already, the ocean of stillness lapped at her feet. The outside world grew fuzzy and dim. Was it the rush of blood in her ears, or had she made it to the sea? Greg held a handkerchief over his mouth, cradling a phone against his ear. Get hazmat In here. Laura blinked. The dark figure of a person blotted out the overhead light. The beach landscape faded away to the bleak cubicle farm. Laura, I need you to keep your eyes open, honey, a voice said, but she could feel the sun on her face and the soft gaze of the sand on her fingertips and hear the ocean calling. This was what she had been anticipating for weeks. It was finally time to rest. She didn't have to share this moment with anyone. Work could wait. Oh my god, the improvement! It was good before, but now it's like, like, I love what you did. Love it. Like, there's only like little things that I would change, but not the full like shift like we were talking about before.
Mm-hmm. I think that like there's some places where I use the same word back to back, but that's just like that's line edits. That's not developmental.
Yeah, like there's a few things I would change, but oh my goodness. Yeah, like you and I can talk more. Like what I'll do is I'll do a track changes for little things, an explanation, or if you want to finish it and then send it to me, and I can do track changes. But at this point, I think for chat and anybody on the rewatch, listen to the first story and then come listen to this and just see how the workshop helped. Like, yeah. It's magical. This is what I mean by magical writing moments. Or how my daughter needs me. Yes, dear.
Can I please have the goggles that Spencer wanted from her? Where was it?
Go upstairs, try them on. If they fit, sure. But you better hide it and bring them back. They're still Spencer's. You better not break them.
I just really want to on the trip.
All right, but try it in secret. Hide from Spencer.
So I think the biggest thing is the clarity of intention. And I think that her relationship with Greg, like clarifying who the staff are, and her relationship with Greg and her protectiveness of him because she knows that he has this new baby.
Exactly. Like, you raised the stakes. You put a personal spin on it. You got that connection, that human element. You made it. You made it like painful to watch and stuff. Like, it's there. It's there. Like, I'm like, yes.
I definitely want to just like put some polish on it, but I'm really happy with the development. So I think that was it. I do want to read your story really quick because I know I've got to hop over to work in just a minute. Can you still hear me if I turn like this?
Yeah, I can hear
you. Think of it as a gallery of moments. The melancholy robotic female voice said. Riley increased the volume of her earpiece. So I can choose any moment to alter, she asked. Yes, the artificial voice said, but only moments in your life so far. And keep in mind, whatever moment you choose, you will branch anew, and all moments afterwards will be unknown. Riley walked down the hallway. Each frame on the stark white walls played memories in a loop. Pivotal choices in life, not just choosing what to have for breakfast. Flashes of good and bad choices, sending an angry email at work, staying to brace through a hurricane, starting the pastry business. Will I remember these timelines? Riley asked as her eyes swept over the frames as she slowly walked down the hallway. Only up until the new choice is made. After that, the alternate timeline will be unknown, the voice said. Riley looked straight ahead and saw the end of the hallway. Turning around, she found she couldn't see the beginning. Puzzled, she asked, "Why is there no more moments after this?" "Your existence in this timeline has ceased," the voice said. "I'm dead?" "Yes," the voice replied. The last frame showed a man pulling his arm back to strike. Riley turned away. Without question, she said, "So my only choice out of here is to make another choice somewhere in my life." The voice didn't reply, sensing the lack of questioning. Riley backtracked. Her steps. Riley backtracked her steps and stopped to a frame of her young adult self. She was seated at a restaurant with a large group of friends. A younger man from the last frame sat across from her. They both reached for the garlic bread, sharing a laugh. He took the bread and broke it in uneven halves. He offered the smaller piece to her and said, "We want you to keep that gorgeous figure." Shaking her head, she stepped further back to a memory of when she was a teenager. Her mother was in the hospital. The cops were questioning her father in the hallway. Riley turned away, remembering the fresh, sanitized, laundered scent to avoid germs. In the next frame, her mother stood between Riley and Riley's father. Without taking her eyes off her husband, she told Riley to leave the house. When Riley returned, an ambulance took her mother as her father was talking with the EMTs, explaining she fell down the stairs. Riley moved to the frame from her late childhood. Her mother was in the kitchen, cutting raw chicken. Her father was saying something, but Riley couldn't hear from around the corner. Her mother's voice boomed. "You're not even a man. You cry more than I do. I work and you just stay home all day." "I take care of our daughter and the house," he says louder. "Then why am I cooking dinner?" she asked, waving the knife in his face. "Because you said you wanted to," he said, backing away. "The only thing I want to do is marry a real man. Guess I'll find one in the next life." In the next life. She slid the knife against her forearm just as he reached to grab it. He wiggled the knife away, and Riley's mother placed her hand over the fresh wound on her arm. "You cut me," she said. "I love you, and I tried to keep you from cutting yourself," he said. She smirked. "I'm not the one holding the knife now, am I?" Riley stepped away, unable to watch anymore. Moving through the timeline, Riley stopped at an earlier memory of her father tucking her in. "I'm sorry I made Mom angry at dinner," little Riley said through sniffles. "No, sweetie, it was my fault. Your mom wanted a good dinner after work, and I left the bread in the oven too long. It's okay that you didn't want to eat it," he said. "I hope we can make Mommy happy tomorrow," Riley said. Her father winced. "Me too, baby, me too." In the hallway, Riley nodded. This is the memory I want to change." "Very well. Do you know what outcome you want?" the voice asked. "Yes." Little Riley was being tucked in her bed. Her eyes landed on her father. He said, "It's okay that you don't want." Riley immediately reached up and hugged her father. "I love you, Dad," she said. He patted her back. "I love you too, little bug. Where did that come from?" "I just wanted to let you know I love you. I don't want you to forget it," Riley said as she settled back down in her pillow. "Okay, little bug. Good night," he said as he stood from her bed. "Dad?" Riley reached for his arm. Looking at her little hand around his wrist, he looked into her eyes. She continued, "Mom isn't going to get better. She's going to get worse, and you will be blamed for it. I don't need her love in my life." Ooh. I also like that the dialogue at that point isn't little kid dialogue because it's still coming from an adult place of like understanding the full spectrum of the situation.
I was wondering whether to use the word emulate, but I was like, no, she knows. And
I think the maturity would be the only thing that would move her dad to take action because he recognizes that she truly does understand.
Yeah. And my hope is the next few words, because I only got like 150 left. The next few words is pretty much he kind of just says, "I know, sweetie," or something like that, says goodnight, and then it cuts to her teenage self, or not, yeah, probably a teenage self, and they're moving in a new house.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think
But I also didn't give the guy a name, but I think that's okay. I think if by meeting to them as teenagers, we can still have deja vu and maybe it'll be understood.
Mm-hmm. I think he needs a name earlier because of the age jumps back in time. Otherwise, it's not going to be clear necessarily. But
Okay.
I think adding his name so that later at the end of the story, maybe one of the last few lines, the little boy or teenage boy sticks out his hand and says, "Hi, I'm X."
Yeah.
And you immediately know. But I also think one way that you can get there is of flashes of memory, like her dad coming in with her bag with bags already packed and picking her up from her bed and carrying her to the car, and like she's now remembering this, so she's back to later in her life, or as a teenager anyway, and she's remembering her dad like taking her that same night that she's had this moment, and that's how it changed the moment or something like that. So now she remembers him basically rescuing them from the situation, and they're unpacking and settling into the new place, and the neighbor kid is like,
I like the idea is maybe he says goodnight and then I can say like a few hours later he wakes her up,
mm-hmm.
bag in hand, like so it's stuck with him and he
immediate action
that night, and so then she's still a child.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, and I think I got the perfect place for the guy to be say his name is that when he hands her the bread, be like, don't want to change that gorgeous figure, by the way, I'm whatever.
Yes mm-hmm.
You'll want to remember my name, I'm something like that, like some
when she hears the name later, that's when it's like a sense of deja vu like settles over her, and then she's like, you know what, I'm good. Thanks for that.
Oh, that could be it. Because okay, so I had a toy with an idea of what if she met him early enough. There's a few ideas here on time and everything, but what if she met him early enough where he was actually a good spouse and not a bad person, and then it's because she met him early. Or
it still feels ominous to me.
Yeah. Or is it the sense of deja vu gives her warning and she goes, I'm good, and like doesn't. Mm-hmm. And then she saves herself in other ways.
I like the mirroring of him still being not good. Yeah, because in the conversation she has with her mom, she says, or with her dad, she says, Mom's not going to change. She gets worse. And so you meet him and he does something that's like a little snarky, a little petty in their introduction, and it's deja vu. And then you have that kind of reminder of her kind of thinking, I know you're not going to get better. You're not going to change.
Yeah.
And so it's like a mirror. I like that idea because I feel like if she knows all of that and it goes back, there's that ominous, did she learn her lesson or not kind of thing. Not learn her lesson, because it's not her fault, but did she really get the most out of the do-over or not?
Yeah. So, yeah, I definitely I like where it's gonna go.
And I think you can do it I think even if you have to go over your word count for now, I know you're really good with editing and stuff.
That's one thing is I've gone over 1,000 words so many times, but I just go back and edit it until I get it under 1,000 before I say, okay, it's done being drafted.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be later edits to polish what's there, but at least cut the excess to get the right weight, I guess is what we're talking about. So yeah, totally worth it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate all of chat that was able to stay in. Violet had to leave. Chandra's got to leave too. She has work. It is the 30-hour write-a-thon today. So Laura Nettles is a part of that. She's streaming and she'll be on my stream later. We'll do a flash this afternoon at 4 p.m. Chandra's got things going on as well. We got some exciting future flashes that are going to happen, submitting, and so we got to workshop that tomorrow. This is our life.
Oh, and next week we'll be on Natalie's channel as
Yes.
well. So be here.
I will have a guest host who I haven't reached out to yet, but I will for next Saturday. So on my channel, appreciate everybody coming, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye, dear.
Bye.